Shaheen is on your left, Jim Davis is on your right. Both these players 4-1. So off to a great start here in Baltimore. They've been given the green light. We're ready to watch them play. We'll see if they can top what we had last round, which was, I don't even know how to describe it still, just a ridiculous match. As Jim is going to draw right away with his Bant Company deck. Not going to sacrifice Evolving Wilds. Perhaps he's done a little bit of mulliganing this game. We'll have to find out as he plays another Evolving Wilds and passes the turn.
Looks like 5 cards in his hand right now, so he mulled once.
Yeah, he's on 6 cards. Now, he's playing a bit of an update to a Bant Company deck. Now, we saw Bant Company last season. Andy Ferguson losing in the finals of the Columbus Open with that deck. Really helped put that deck on the map, and then a lot of people started playing it, like Brad Nelson and company. And, you know, some players started working red mana into the deck for Mantis Rider. That's a deck that I played in Indianapolis a few weeks ago. It was really good. And I think that these Bant Company decks still going to rock and roll pretty well. You know, you don't get the absurd mana base anymore.
Well, but there are still some very powerful interactions here. We see Jim playing a couple of werewolves in his deck.
Okay.
And having instant speed effects that you can play on your opponent's turn mean you can pass the turn, transform your werewolf to great effect, and then still keep up with plays throughout the game.
Yeah, he's playing one of my favorite cards in the new set. He's playing 4 copies of Dusk Watch Recruiter, and I think that card's insane.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very good. I hope we get to see it in action during this match. Starts the 2/2. It's simplistic to flip. And, you know, if you're not doing anything, you get to activate that ability, which is very, very powerful. And then when it does flip, creatures cost less. Now, this is another card, and I know you like this one here in Tireless Tracker.
Tireless Tracker is one that's tested very well in my group. Playing a land and having the option to draw a card later in the game is just so powerful. It's very efficient.
And then this thing gets bigger, too.
Yep, yep. It can be a threat all by itself, so it's not like you have to overcommit to the board.
Yeah, I like this card. Now, some people have compared this to saying it's the new Courser Crucifix. I wouldn't say that. I'd say they're very different cards.
Yeah, it's very. The Courser was the perfect defensive card to me. You were able to play lands off of the top of your deck for card advantage. You gained life when you played those lands, and it was a 2/4 that blocked effectively every turn. It was very good defensively. This card, not nearly as good defensively, but in a slower, stalled game, it's going to take over.
Now, the thing I like about Jim's deck, you mentioned how he has werewolves in his deck, is he's going to come across with a Tireless Tracker, but more than anything is that he can play as an opponent's turn.
Yes.
You know, he's got Collected Company, he's got Dromoka's Command, he's got 1 copy of Ojutai's Command, and he actually has some copies of Archangel Avacyn as well.
And the Bounding Crassus.
Yeah.
That has flash as well.
So he's got an effective way to play on Shaheen's turn, and when you're playing a control deck like Shaheen, you don't like to see that on the other side of the table. It kind of contorts the way that you have to play the game.
Yeah, so Shaheen wants to be able to get some cards onto the board, but he also doesn't want to open himself up to a Collected Company.
Now, Shaheen does have a Dragonlord Ojutai in hand. There's a Transgress the Mind over there. It looks like he's going to start by activating Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Time to draw and discard, and he picked up a copy of Ojutai's Command. He's playing a couple copies of that card this weekend, 2 of them. 4 Slumgar Scorn, that's not going to surprise you. 2 Grasp of Darkness, 2 Foul-Tongue Invocation, 2 Anguished Unmaking here for the Esper Dragons player.
He put a lot of time into this list. He wrote about it once early in the spoilers, and then he wrote about it again this week with his updated list saying, yeah, this deck's really good. The mana is great. I've tweaked a few cards.
Love the way Shaheen played this turn. He starts off with a Transgress the Mind. Jim's going to play a Collected Company in response. Shaheen will then place a Slumgar Scorn, going to counter that, get his Transgress to resolve. However, Jim is working with nothing here, just a couple of lands.
So that's still kind of a victory for Shaheen, right?
Yes and no. It's weird, right? It is a victory, but it isn't because Jim's got this Tireless Tracker.
Yes.
So this is going to let him draw some cards.
I mean, optimally, you want him to have 1 good card that you make him exile, but 3 lands is almost as good.
So this is where Tireless Tracker is going to kind of flex its muscles a little bit here because Jim can start by sacrificing a clue, turn it into a 4/3 creature, draw a card, and keep this train rolling.
Yep.
And that looks like what he's going to do. So he'll draw a card. Picked up a Sylvan Advocate. Now he's got the option between sacrificing a clue, playing Jace, or playing Sylvan Advocate, and we know he's got another land in his hand, so we can turn Advocate into a 4/5 very easily.
Yep. Yeah, it's the versatility of the Tireless Tracker that makes it so powerful.
Now, which card would I play here? No clue. This is the easy part.
So staring down only 1 black source on the opponent's side makes me think that I'm not going to be languished.
Okay.
So I probably want to get the Jace onto the board, flip it as soon as possible, and start flashing back to the Collected Companies.
Okay. Well, Jim's going to go with the Jace and simply pass the turn back over to Shaheen Soorani. Shaheen will draw, picked up a copy of Prairie Stream. Shaheen going to very quickly activate his Jace. So time to draw and discard, and Painful Truths was the draw. So we'll see what Shaheen wants to discard. Note that this will transform Jace here in just a moment.
Yeah, we're going to see the transform Jace, but it's already being pressured by that Tireless Tracker that's on the board.
It's a Prairie Stream. It's a Dragonlord Ojutai. Now, one thing to note about Jace, and we've talked about it quite a bit here this weekend, is the inability to flip it as quickly, but also the inability to control it because Delve has rotated out.
Yep.
So no Murderous Cuts to remove your graveyard and keep going, dig through Time's Treasure Cruiser, stuff like that.
Yep. Well, and those were the most unfair turns that we saw, right?
Yep.
Is when Jace flipped and it played one of those cards out of the graveyard.
Yep.
For 1-2 mana, and it just able to get the most powerful effect for the least amount of cost.
Yeah, you're double and triple spelling with regularity then, and that's really hard for most people to beat. Now Jim looks like he's going to start by activating his Jace, so he'll draw and discard. He's picked up a copy of, hello, Avacyn.
Yep.
I love that card.
Average card, yeah.
Yes. And this will change his decision-making process.
Yeah, if the viewers haven't heard us talking about this card earlier, it's a vanilla 4/4 with no ability.
Not a lot really going on with it.
Yeah.
Jim will play land, get another clue from the Tireless Tracker.
Jim's probably the only player this weekend on Avacyn.
Almost assuredly.
Yeah.
Draws a card, picks up a copy of the Duskwatch Recruiter. Now remember, Jace did target the Tireless Tracker, so it's a little bit smaller right now.
Yeah, but Jim has the option of pumping it again with another clue.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wants, he can attack Jace or Shaheen.
Hey, he's going to sack a clue.
He's going to sack it ahead of time. Okay.
Yep. Picked up a Canopy Vista. And now he's coming in. So it's a 6-power creature, but because of Jace's -2, it's a 4-power creature.
4.
Yep.
It's a 4/5. It can trade with the dragon.
We'll have to find out what it's attacking. Is it attacking Shaheen or is it attacking Jace? And he's actually still deciding who he wants to attack.
This is definitely attacking. I'm just not sure where.
Yeah. Am I going to kill you or am I going to work that Jace down to 2 counters? Difficult decision here for Davis. Camera over to Jim. Jim's face.
All right, he's made his decision. He's going after Jace here. Shaheen says fine.
And now Sylvan Advocate. That's a 4/5.
Yeah, just a 2-mana 4/5.
No big deal. Oh, this is an easy decision for Shaheen. He's not wasting any time getting in there with Dragonlord Ojutai. He'll trigger. Take a look at the top 3 cards.
Well, I think he can't do much with the cards he has right now, so he's forced to attack. He doesn't really have the choice.
Just deciding what he wants to take. Painful Truths, Ozutai's command in hand. We'll see what he's going to add to it. There is a Slumgar Scorn. Looks like just a couple of lands to go along with it. Unclear if Shaheen actually needs lands at this stage or not, though.
Yeah, he already has Painful Truths in his hand, so that's not an option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's tough for him to even cast that card right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of time or a whole lot of life.
Is it time for Painful Truths?
But he also does not have a whole lot of answers.
Yeah, he's in a really difficult spot.
He wants to keep making his land drops. He needs to find some removal cards. So this is an awkward position for him.
Another thing that's interesting here is that he does have 3 copies of Languish in his deck, but Languish does not line up very well right now at all.
No, a lot of 5 toughness creatures on the other side of the board.
Mm-hmm. And if you were kind of on the fence about Tireless Tracker, I think it's proven itself in this game alone.
Yeah.
I don't think Jim would be in this game without it.
It looks real good. It's drawn him a lot of cards, and it's a big threat. Like you said, it's going to live through Languish right now or Grasp of Darkness.
Yep. There's Painful Truths. Shaheen's going to fall down to 10. Draw a couple of cards. Dragonlord Ojutai among them. Jace is going to tick up. slow down Sylvan Advocate a touch, and just Shaheen can only pass turn back. Doesn't even have a land to play.
Yeah, this is a bad spot.
Yeah. Davis will untap those permanents. He'll draw a card for the turn. 6 lands to work with for Jim, though he does have another in his hand. And there's a Prairie Stream.
Now Jim has to ask himself, do I want to go after this Jace and get it off of the board? Or do I just crack in for, looks like 8 damage right now when Shaheen is at 10? I'm guessing he's just going to go after Shaheen.
I just don't think he has a lot of reason to go after Jace. At this point, he missed the land. I just don't think I care.
Yeah.
I just want to get you dead, if I can. There's a Jace activation.
Ugh.
Ugh. Reflector Mage.
So I don't believe he's made a land drop yet this turn.
Nope.
So he's going to have enough lands to where he can flash back the Collected Company. Even if it gets countered, he can Reflector Mage the dragon back to the hand. Like he just has everything working for him right now.
I think yeah, that's the line. You saw it right away. Collected Company. Yeah, Shaheen, he just can't let this resolve.
No, yeah.
He's got a Slumgar scoring it. And now Jim is going to really quickly play a land. He'll get a clue. And I would be shocked if he didn't play Reflector Mage this turn.
And that Tireless Tracker has just powered Jim through this entire game.
It's been really good.
We saw the Collected Company get countered early in the game, and it looked like Shaheen was easily in the driver's seat. Jim drew Tireless Tracker off the top. Is that how it went down?
No, he had it to start.
Okay.
He had it to start
the
turn.
It was already in play.
Yeah, he had it in play already, but then
Sure.
it was just, he had 3 lands, and that was it. And, obviously when you have 1 creature and 3 lands, you're probably in bad shape, but that was not true.
Every land was an extra card.
Yeah. And an extra point of power.
And Shaheen didn't find any removal cards that game.
Yep. None whatsoever.
A lot of card draw, Planeswalker, a dragon, some counter spells, but no removal. So when something was on the board, he was at its mercy.
And Jim Davis got the job done there with Tireless Tracker and the things that it brought along with it, as he does win game number 1 over Shaheen Soorani. Bant Company up a game over Esper Dragons. As we take a look at each of these great players' sideboards, we will start with Shaheen. He's got 2 Hangerback Walkers, Virulent Plague, a Grasp of Darkness, 2 Negates, an Ochitai's Command, a Scatter to the Winds, a Linvala the Preserver, a Dark Petition, 2 Infinite Liberation, 1 additional copy of Languish, a Ruinous Path, and a Transgress the Mind. Craig, what do you like here?
This is a tough matchup. We saw, you would think that having a few counterspells with some removal and some effective threats would be good, but the Bant deck just drew so many more cards and it resolved a few threats, and it was a big issue. I'm not sure if Shaheen's going to want to go with more control cards if he feels like Languish, Ruinous Path are cards that are going to help him in the matchup. I can see the Linvala definitely coming in. He's almost always going to have less creatures on the board than his opponent and less life total. So that's a definite add, but a lot of these other cards is Languish the Wrath of God effect that he wants? Is it going to work out for him? We saw that game. If he had drawn it, it would have killed nothing.
It would have actually killed nothing.
I
think it is the one that he wants in certain spots.
Sure. So I can see the 4th one coming in, but I can also see it just being mediocre in many games where he draws it.
On Jim's side, another copy of Tireless Tracker, Den Protector, Hidden Dragon Slayer, 2 Lantern Scout, 2 Declaration in Stone, 2 Invocation of Saint Traft, 1 Ochitai's Command, 3 Negates, 2 Clip Wings. All right, so this is a 14-card sideboard because that Tireless Tracker's coming in.
Yeah.
I've already made that decision for
sure.
Jim.
Yeah, no, I mean, after we watched the first game and it was just
the best card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so
that's
good.
coming in.
And then the rest of these cards, I can see the 3 Negates and the 2 Clip Wings. Clip Wings is a very good green sideboard card right now.
Yeah. I think that card's fantastic. Instant speed, too.
Well, it can fight Archangel Avacyn. They play the ability on the stack. You Clip Wings them, and they have to sacrifice it. And then you just see collateral damage in matchups like this where it's going to be very, very good. Your opponent can't steal things with the Dragon Lord Slumgar. They can't get you with Dragon Lord Ojutai. It's only 2 mana.
If people actually move towards Silumgar the Drifting Death again. And actually, no, that's no longer with us. I take it
Yep.
back. That one's long gone. But if it was still here, clip its wings.
Snip.
Snip, snip, it goes. Thunderbreak region, you can kill it, that's for sure. So that gives you an idea of both these players' sideboards. As they do get ready for game number 2, we will talk about some apparel, as you see Shaheen Soorani is wearing Star City Games t-shirt. So is Tom Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him, defiant as ever. Brand new official StarCityGames.com t-shirts. I know people like our apparel quite a bit, so we've upgraded these. They're available to purchase at all of our events, as well as go to StarCityGames.com/apparel, and we will be adding quite a few things to this website. This is tough for me. I haven't done a show in like 2 months, maybe.
It's been a while.
It's been like a really long time. I think like in Atlanta, I haven't done a show in a really long time, so I've just been in the Roanoke office just grinding away, getting things set up for like Q2 of this year.
Grinding away. I like the way you describe your work.
Just grinding away, just having to deal with Magic cards all day. And so we got like a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline, but I just can't reveal all the details of it yet, so I'm giving out little spoilers.
Yeah, I was about to say, give us a taste, man.
I can't tell you.
Just a little sugar for the tongue.
More stuff is coming that goes to StarCityGames.com/apparel page. I think you guys are going to like, trust me. We got like...
I love... I've said that I enjoy how big Magic has gotten.
Same.
So there's so many aspects that people enjoy with the game. You know, some people have these giant collections. Some people love vintage or different formats. You know, specialty formats like Commander, or Tiny Leaders, things like that. Some people like the card alters.
Yep.
You know, there's all these different things. And now recently we've started to see a lot more apparel come out.
Yep.
T-shirts and hoodies, hats. Some of the teams have their own branding now, which I love. Like, to me, that's just the next step in Magic becoming bigger and more recognizable.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
One thing that we were talking about that there's no Magic ties.
Not yet.
Now,
Not yet.
Fans at home, Cedric wants a Magic tie.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I have a Magic tie. I have a Star City Games tie, a black one and a white one.
I didn't know this.
I am one of 3 people that have them.
How did I not know this?
Well, this was back when I was playing in Pro Tours at the end of the 2000s, I did the Todd Stevens approach. I used to wear suits at Pro Tours.
Sure.
And so I wanted to be able to represent Star City because I was writing for them at the time, and I was like, hey, I wear a tie at every tournament. Is there like any chance of like getting a custom tie made? And they had them made for me.
Sure.
So like one of my Facebook profile pictures that I use with some regularity has me in like a black shirt and then a black Star City tie that is like, it's base black with some white outfitting and stuff.
Okay.
I'm one of 3 people. I stand with you. I would like to have some Magic ties out there.
All right, so for our fans at home,
okay,
if you can get Cedric a Magic the Gathering themed tie, maybe all 5 colors on it or something like that.
Or just Magic artwork.
Well, I don't know if they have the right.
We'd have to have a conversation.
The rights to the Magic artwork.
Yeah.
But Cedric has told me if he loves the tie, he will wear it on camera.
When did I say that?
Maybe I just heard that in my head.
Did I?
But send it to the Roanoke headquarters.
Okay.
Care of Cedric Phillips.
Yep, that's me.
And if there's multiple submissions that he really likes, you know, if they get it to you quick, maybe you and Patrick will both be wearing a custom Magic tie at the Invitational on camera next week.
Because that's what would happen. Patrick would wear a custom Magic tie. Of all the people in the world I could think of who would do that, he's right at the top of the list.
Patrick loves Magic.
Yes, he does.
And he loves looking good.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He loves bright, colorful, cheery things.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a staple of fashion within the Magic community, it is Patrick Sullivan.
Yeah. So I think his girlfriend described his wardrobe that he wears in tournaments as bland with a side of bland, I think is how it's described. But we have to balance each other out. That's the thing. I wear the bright colors. Patrick wears the bland colors.
Sure. I mean, warm-up jumpers and poorly tied ties.
That's correct.
That's
his specialty.
Okay.
Both these players have started things off very robustly with a Jace getting countered by a Slumguard Scorn and each player playing lands.
And nothing else, yes.
Correct. Now here's a Prairie Stream. That's land number 5 for Shane. Pass the turn back over to Jim. Jim with no instant speed effect on the end of turn, though he did just pick up a copy of Collected Company.
And it's possible, I haven't seen it, I would guess that Jim has a negate in his hand. If he's being this patient, I guess he wants to set up a counter war that he thinks he can win.
I just like the fact that Jim's deck can play this way. This is not harming him very much. Now, Shaheen said, I'm making a move. I got nothing better to do. Ochitai's command. Oh, my. Hello. Get back a chase. Your turn.
Now, that's an only medium scary because without the fetch lands, Jace does not flip immediately. He does not immediately get some value out of this card.
This is not the backbreaker that it used to be. It's still obviously very good, but it's not, oh my god, I can't possibly win now.
Yeah, it's just a Merfolk Looter for a turn, and then Shaheen's going to get his chance to deal with it.
Yeah. That said, Dragon Lotus Die has been countered, which is very important.
That was certainly a big swing, yeah. And the shields are down. Jim has a turn to do whatever he wants.
Jim will activate Jace, picked up another copy of Collected Company. Now it's time for him to discard. And discard he will. There goes Evolving Wilds. That's card number 3, excuse me, in the graveyard, an island. And Jim will pass the turn back. Over to Shaheen. Shaheen will draw. Another copy of Dragon Lotus Die. Reveal a swamp.
It looked like he was playing the swamp there.
Yeah, I thought so for just a moment.
Swamp.
The land there is Choked Estuary.
Estuary.
Estuary, thank you.
I believe that's where a river meets a larger body of water.
I'll confirm.
But Shaheen, considering his options here, he has both of the dragons in his hand, and he needs to decide which way he wants to go with this.
The tidal mouth of a large river where the tide meets the stream. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I was pretty close.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Here's Dragon Lotus Die.
It's tough to get the exact specifics of that nailed down.
Dictionary.com, man. It's going to resolve. That's the question.
Yeah. It's tough to say.
I don't even know if Jim cares. He probably has to care because it's Dragon Lotus Die.
He probably has to care. He's asking himself, does he want to get on the board with Collected Company?
Well, he's going to cast it now. This may be in response to Dragon Lotus Die. We'll find out if it's in response or if Dragon Lotus Die has resolved. Excuse me. Either way, Collected Company is resolving. All right, this is in response to Ojutai.
Well, you want to do it with the dragon on the stack.
Yeah, so that Slumgar Scorn doesn't play a role?
Exactly. Yeah. Slumgar Scorn, if he has it, does not see a dragon in play or in his hand.
Shaheen wants to take a look at the old Duskwatch Recruiter. We can do the same yet again. It's a card that I like quite a bit. You see Shaheen taking a look at the backside as well. The Crawling Horde Howler.
So the front, pay 3, look at the top 3, and put a creature into your hand. The back, it gets a little bit bigger, turns into a 3/3, and then your creature spells cost 1 less.
I think this card is going to see a lot of play.
Well, there's a lot of synergies to it. You know, if you pass the turn and it's going to transform, you can activate it. So you're still getting a card. So it's not like you've just wasted your turn trying to transform one of your werewolves. And then when it comes back to your turn, the cards that are all the extra cards in your hand because you haven't played spells are cheaper to get onto the board.
Now, Bounding Crassus did come in and untap Jace, so Jim got to activate Jace yet again, discard a Plains, transform it into the Telepath Unbound, and now Dragon Lotus Die has resolved, and Davis is taking his turn. So take his turn, he will. He's picked up another copy of Duskwatch Recruit.
Are these portal lands that Jim is sporting?
I believe yes.
Yeah. They're pretty. They're
not bad. They're not bad. Hard to find nowadays, I imagine.
I can only imagine where a bunch of the Guru lands ended up because they just sent them out in the mail way back in the day.
Yeah, they're all with Josh Ravitz. He has them all.
I'm sure a bunch of them are still in boxes in basements, or they got folded up or thrown away or proxied on or who knows what else, you know?
Well, I want some of them.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite lands.
That would be nice.
No, I'm not special in that regard. I think those are most people's favorite
lands.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
Yeah. Woe is me. Jace ticks up to 6. The Recruit will transform. Shaheen gives it the okay. Shaheen will draw.
And Jim spent his turn not doing a thing.
Outside of just plussing Jace, that's it. That's not much.
He didn't even activate the Duskwatch Recruit to dig for a creature.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel good about that if I was Shaheen.
Yeah, I mean, means there's something going on.
Shaheen's attacking Jim, ignoring Jace. Well, you spoke about that negate much earlier. I think that's what's probably going on here. Collective Company is going to resolve. Top 6. Couple Jaces in there. Tireless Tracker. What's not in there is Reflector Mage.
Yeah, Reflector Mage is the dream, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what you're looking for. He did not find it.
All right, and unlike last game, Languish would be pretty darn good.
This is one of those games where Languish would be good. Now Shaheen.
And the reason the Dragon Lord Ojutai went after Jim Davis instead of the Jace that's been flipped is because the Dragon Lord Ojutai has to deal damage to a player in order to trigger its loot effect.
Now Shaheen's got a different dragon. Dragon Lord Salumgar. Can't negate that one. Curious to see what Shaheen wants to take. He's going to take a Tireless Tracker. Play a land. Bang.
This is funny.
Get a clue.
Yep. This card was too good the first game.
Card beat him straight up.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want the cards. And Shaheen also has Grasp of Darkness at the ready too, so he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Let's go Jim's way.
Well, we say he's in a pretty good spot, but we see that Jace with all those counters. There's 2 Collected Companies in the graveyard. Jim just drew Reflector Mage. This could turn the other way really quick.
Mm-hmm. See, reorganize his lands there pretty quickly.
And like we said, Jim even has a negate at the ready, just in case something really bad happens.
And Jim is going to try to cast Collected Company. That'll work. Take a look at the top 6. Reflector Mage, Sylvan Advocate. Everything else is going to the bottom, but those are 2 hits. Now I'm curious to see what he wants to bounce with Reflector Mage. That's the big question. He's going to take care of Dragon Lord Salumgar, it appears. Clear the path for some of his creatures.
Yeah. He's going to get to attack. He gets his Tireless Tracker back. He has not played a land yet this turn.
Yeah, and if you're Jim, you're hopeful that you can. I don't think he has land in his hand because one of the things he can do, if he does have a land to play, he can play Reflector Mage for 1 less.
Yep.
And then leave up Negate. But I don't think he has a land to play.
What he does have is a very large board position.
Well, he can find a land with this Jace, potentially. I think that's what he'd love to find. Draw a card. There's a forest. There goes the Dustwatch recruit. Jace transforms. That means he'll lose one of them. He's just shortcutting here.
Yeah.
Grasp of Darkness is going to go after Tireless Tracker with that transform on the stack. Pretty smart play there by Shaheen. Now this will transform.
Yeah, Shaheen sees what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Land. I'll have to change the way that he taps his mana just a little bit. There it is.
Nope.
Yeah.
So close.
There it is.
There it is.
There's the 2 we need for Reflector Mage, which costs 1 less because of the transformation.
This turn's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Now there's an attack for 6. Shaheen can't replay his dragons.
Neither of them.
Yep.
And Jim Davis has negate back up.
Yep. And there's a transformation back to the Dustwatch recruit.
He drew Languish, which seems great.
Except it's not.
Except it's not.
I'll negate it. Do you have a counterspell?
And even if it was great, the Advocate would live through it. The Jace is on the board to flash back another Collected Company. Mm-hmm. You know, Jim has a huge lead here.
Yeah, Shaheen, it feels like he's... we'll see if he has a follow-up or not. Feels like he just got steamrolled this game.
He's probably going to crack that clue.
And hope?
Yeah, I mean, he's desperate for this Languish to resolve.
Yeah. It would go a long way towards starting to catch him up. like he's going to crack a clue. Draw a card. Languish is countered. Oh, that's awkward. He can't play the... Okay, he has a land to play. Never mind. I was going to say he can't play the Grasp of Darkness. He can play Foul-Tongue Invocation right now. Now, one thing to note, he's facing lethal this turn. So I think he... I would want to cast it now, I think. I wouldn't want to worry about negate.
You probably can't beat a negate anyway.
Well, if he casts Foul-Tongue now, right, he gets to getting his 4 life, and then the next turn he gets to play at least 1 dragon, potentially 2, depending on how much land he has.
Sure, my point is it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess, 3 turns from now, the negate's still going to be a backbreaker.
Yeah. Well, even a dragon stealing something next turn, if Jim flashes back another Collected Company here, there's going to be so many creatures on the board for him.
That's very true. That's one of these things that this particular company deck does. It builds such a unreal advantage, and it just keeps building that advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't come out of the gates blazing super fast like some of the aggressive decks, but turns 4 through 6,
they're all really good.
Are insane, yeah.
Sometimes it starts on turn 2. It feels like it typically starts on turn 3, though.
Yeah. And even without such an aggressive start, the Reflector Mages just keep you in the game.
Yeah, because that card's absurd. Here come the beatdowns. Everybody in. Foul-Tongue Invocation. Revealing Dragonlord Ojutai.
If only it mattered.
Yeah, it feels good in the short term. But in the long term, I'm not sure it's going to be able to do enough. I mean, Shaheen's going to need a heck of a series of draw steps here. She falls down to 7. Jace is going to go up to 7 counters.
All right, so he's not even interested in flashing back.
I think his board presence is so good he doesn't need to now. There's another copy of Languish. I think that was step 1.
Yeah.
I think he needed to have that. He needs Jim not to have a counter spell. Jim's already reaching for mana, so what's this? Okay, activate this. Hidden Dragon Slayer's a hit.
Not so Hidden
No,
Dragon
it's not.
Slayer.
See, I was hoping that we could just both let that go. Nope. You disappointed me again, Craig.
No, you're just upset because I got to it before you did.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. That is actively false.
We both know what happened here.
No. I'll have it removed from the archives. Might be Dragonlord Ojutai time. He's not facing lethal. There's Dragonlord Ojutai. He's got a shot.
Yeah.
Does Shaheen? It's slim, but it feels like he's got a shot. Take a draw. Tireless Tracker here for Jim.
That's not real exciting in this situation.
No? That's where he wanted the old clip wings.
Oh, yeah. That would have been super solid. If Shaheen gets another turn, he could potentially play the Dragonlord Slumgar, steal the Jace, flash back another Languish, and then be in the driver's seat.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Advocate, beatdowns. Don't think you can block.
Nope.
What's next here for Jim? Does he even see that line that he has available? All right, it's going to go down to 4. Company?
It's a starting point.
Yeah?
You know, if you can get another Advocate or 2, you have big creatures that live through Languishes.
Yeah, which is a big deal. Well, there's at least one. Well, there's an Advocate in there. I don't know if he wants to take it or not, though. He could take Bounding Crassus. All right, so he's going to take an Advocate and a Bounding Crassus.
An exposed Dragon Slayer.
Tireless Tracker here in hand for Jim. A lot of options here for the player's champion. He'll go with Duskwatch Recruit. He's tapping all the way out. Another Jace.
Everything. He'll go with everything.
Okay. Pass the turn back over to Shaheen. Shaheen's drawing. He picked up a Sunken Ruins. Sunken Hollow, excuse me. He still has Grasp of Darkness in hand. And then Dragonlord Silumgar. I'm curious if he's interested in that play that you mentioned, taking the Jace.
I think it's his only option.
You saw Shaheen taking a look at Hidden Dragon Slayer. We will as well. Shaheen wants to make sure he knows exactly what that kills. There's Dragonlord Silumgar. It's a creature with power 4 or greater, so it will not kill Dragonlord Silumgar. Shaheen wants Sylvan Advocate. Grasp of Darkness at the ready. I think Dragonlord Ojutai stuck playing defense this turn.
See, I think he could have stolen the Jace, flashback the Languish,
Okay.
and left both his dragons back on defense.
Well, the Dragonlord Ojutai will die because it's a 5/4.
Yes, it trades with a 4/5.
Okay, sure.
Oh, you're saying it
dies
dies
to
to
the
the
Languish,
Languish.
yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'm so busy trying to concentrate on what he needs to do to get Jim's creatures off the board that I forgot he's killing his own creatures.
Yeah, that's the hiccup. And so the previous turn,
Yeah.
when Jim attacked with the Sylvan Advocate and Shaheen took it,
Yeah.
I'm curious if that's right or wrong. Because how much is he actually going to get out of his Dragonlord Ojutai now is the question.
Yeah, it can't ever tap because the Hidden Dragon Slayer's in the way.
Exactly. Jace is going to go up.
Yeah, I think Shaheen's thinking was that if he doesn't draw the land there, he's going to need a specific card to help him live another turn, and the Dragonlord Ojutai would be there to help find the card.
Okay. Jace will transform. You see him shortcut yet again, put a Jace in the graveyard. So the Jace that he actually has in the battlefield, he's not activated yet. He's activated the previous one. Tireless Tracker, Prairie Stream, get a clue. Morph. Unmorph. Kill Sylvan Advocate. Make Dragonlord Silumgar smaller. It might just be a 0 power creature now. That clue wants to come into the red zone. It's not going to get to do that. There's Sylvan Advocate. It just stacks on Dragonlord Silumgar. But Jim's empty-handed.
Yeah. Yeah, another Languish would be massive here.
Shaheen is attacking, triggering Dragonlord Ojutai. And reorganizing his lands very quickly. Looks like he's going to pick up a Jace. Rest are going to go to the bottom. And there is a Jace. He's obviously going to want to keep Shambling Vents at the ready. And now pass. Back to Davis. Davis will draw.
A lot of back and forth this game.
Yeah.
A lot of grinding. You got to appreciate this when you get to see a lot of Magic played.
There was a couple situations where I did not think that Shaheen could come back.
Sure. Well, Jim took the one turn off where he didn't flash back a Collected Company.
Yep.
Which was smart because, Shaheen cast Languish the next turn, but it was also not smart because if he had found another 5 toughness creature, Shaheen would already be dead this game.
Yep.
So that was a calculated risk that Jim took that could have gone the other way.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures. Yeah, we can't forget that Shaheen has those Shambling Vents, though. Those are going to play such a huge role right now.
Yeah, he's plenty of mana to fire up 2 of them.
Let's see what this is. Nissa. Jim no force to search up, but he'll play Canopy Vista, which will transform this into the Sage Animist.
Getting more clues.
Yep. See where this is going to go. It's going to go up, reveal a card. Canopy Vista. Tireless Tracker is whenever a land enters the battlefield, not when you play a land, which I was curious about. So he's going to sacrifice a clue.
Does Nissa put a land onto the battlefield?
When you plus it, if it's a land, it goes directly on.
Sure,
Yeah.
from the top of the library.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
What's next, Mr. Davis? Mr. Players Champion. Can you deal those final 3?
He's got a lot of cards to work with.
Jace is going to go up to 7. Dragonlord Ojutai is going to get slowed down.
He still has clues.
Crack a clue again. This is where Tireless Tracker looks busted. The follow-up. Duskwatch Recruit.
If this board stalls any longer, that Duskwatch Recruit is just going to start churning through Jim's deck.
Yep. Grasp of Darkness to draw.
But on the flip side, you know, Shaheen can flip a Jace this turn and flashback a Languish if he wants to. Jim is kind of well set up against that with his 2 Planeswalkers. The Tireless Tracker will live. The
Advocate
will live.
The only boy, Shaheen could.
He can start with an attack on one of the Planeswalkers, or both of the Planeswalkers.
Yeah. He's got to get risky here. And what he really needs, truthfully, is he needs Jim to do some blocking with the Advocate. Actually, he can't because it doesn't have reach, so that's not going to work either. So he has no real good way of killing that. It has Vigilance, doesn't have reach. Keep in mind that Jace did tick up last turn to slow down Dragonlord Ojutai a little bit, so it's only a 3-power creature.
Okay, which is significant.
Yep. I think you have to do some attacking because I don't think you can sit back with them. All right. Jim's going to take 3. Shaheen's going to trigger. Ruinous Path. Uh-huh.
Does that get us closer? We don't know.
I'm not sure. Shaheen's going to activate. Draw and discard. Ojutai's command.
Okay, does that get us closer?
It's 4 life important.
Yeah.
Down goes Jace. Transformation complete. Down to 2. Shaheen wants a Languish.
Yeah.
We had a feeling this was in the equation. All right, that resolves. Dragonlord Ojutai down. Dragonlord Slumguard's hanging out.
Yeah, you just killed half of his opponent's non-land permanents. His opponent still has lots of permanents.
Yeah. All right, Grasp of Darkness. Takes care of the Sylvan Advocate.
And yeah, Shaheen is clawing his way back into this game.
I think he made up a lot of ground.
And he still has 4 mana up to cast the counterspell.
Or activate the Shambling.
Yeah. Well, he has a 3/5 that can just jump in front of the 4/5 right now. So.
And you said the Faltong Invocation didn't matter.
I did say that.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Nissa, up, Port Town, in. No basic to reveal.
Darn it. Only have access to 11 mana this turn.
Jace down. Company time?
Collected company.
I think it's company time. Assuming Jim has a company down there.
Yep. Are we going to see a Reflector Mage?
That was an Ojutai's command. Get back Sylvan Advocate.
Okay, yeah. Regrow a big threat and draw a card.
Snip wings?
Oh, he drew it. Clip. Snippity snip.
Snippity snip snip. See you later, Dragonlord Slumgar. Advocate for the W.
Yeah, Shaheen's wondering if he chump blocks with the land or gains 4 with the spell.
So here's a tough spot, right? The spell can be countered. Chump blocking with the land. Trying to chump block with the land makes you lose your Jamoka's command. But it's so unlikely that it's in his deck after sideboard.
Yeah.
That I think going for Ojutai's command is reasonable. All right. Jace in. Shaheen goes up to 7.
This feels a lot more like the old format.
Yes, this game does, that's for sure.
Yeah. Lots of Jace activations. Lots of commands.
All right, Jace going up. Slow down an Advocate. Here's a Jace activation. Discard a Painful Truths.
Oh, he drew a
I think
Soorani.
he did draw a Soorani, didn't he?
And he can deploy Soorani and Ruinous Path this turn if that's what he wants to do.
Go on with your bad self, Shaheen Soorani. No quitting you. Here is Soorani. Goodbye, Advocate. Gain 5.
And what a mess this game is.
It's a mess in Shaheen's favor right now, I think.
Well, I believe Jim's last card is another Ojutai's Command,
It's a good Magic card.
which would bring a 4/5 right back onto the board.
Yeah. Slow down that Advocate. Pass the turn back. So it's got -4, -0 right now.
Yep.
2 Jace activations. There's Ojutai's Command. Jim's going to get back an Advocate. Draw a card. He does have a Lumbering Falls among his lands. Shaheen does have a Shambling Vent among his lands that he can activate. Time to draw. Evolving Wilds.
We need to get an Atarka red deck into this format.
We'll have mono white humans for you next round. We can promise you that.
Well, watching these games, this is only game 2, and they've got 3 minutes left on the clock.
We're not playing a third one. And if things go Jim's way, he won't need a third one.
It's a little interesting. We've seen Jim drawing cards off
Instead of making the 4/4?
Yeah, instead of making a 4/4 legendary elemental.
Yep. Keep in mind, Lumbering Falls is enormous right now. Not 1, but 2 Sylvan Advocates on the battlefield.
And it looks like they were both going after Soorani.
Okay, got to get that off the battlefield. There's a Morph.
Could be anything.
Yep. Nissa. Pass. I think he used all his Planeswalkers. It looks like he's making the 4/4. There it is. You know, Jim Davis typically plays a little bit slowly or more of a deliberate pace.
Yeah.
I can't even say he played slow this game.
No.
He's had some complicated decisions. I think he's played pretty quickly.
Yeah, both players have thought about some of their plays, but I don't think there was any slow play going on.
Me either. Here's Ruinous Path. It's going to be targeting a Shambling Vent, so this is a fun interaction. The Awakening, excuse me, will be targeting a Shambling Vent. Morphing a Den Protector. What's he getting back? He's moving fast. Negate. All right,
yeah.
That'll take care of that. And is that finally it? Has Jim finally overcome Shaheen? Shaheen is going to recast Languish, so yep, that's going to do it. Jim Davis is going to win this match here over Shaheen Soorani, 2-0. Bant Company will take care of Esper Dragons in a marathon affair, but at the end of the day, the player's champion, Jim Davis, gets the job done. He is 5-1 here.
What
in
did we
Baltimore.
just watch?